So that's the first coat of stain on there. It's not quite dry, as you can see, so it's a little bit patchy in places, like here, but another coat or two and it should be looking pretty good, because on the whole the wood is taking that colour really well, and I think that's going to look really nice, especially once it's got some nice gloss varnish over the top of it. So yeah, not too bad. Quite impressed with that wood stain that I've got there. Really like the colour, and it's even helping to match up the CLS collar with the spruce wood on the top there, bringing out the grain quite nicely as well. Yeah, so another coat or two, and then we're going to be hopefully constructing and fitting the tower for the taps. Right, so a quick update on the progress. We have pretty much finished staining this top layer. I'm quite happy with how it's come out. Looking nice and kind of rich, sort of dark, slightly red colour on the wood. There's a couple of little patchy areas over here which I'm not particularly happy about, but I think the problem there was where I was getting a little bit overzealous with the wood glue when I was doing these gaps. I was wiping that off there, and I think the wood glue has basically kind of sealed the wood around here a little bit so that the stain is not really penetrating into it properly. So that looks a little bit shit on those parts, but the rest of it is looking pretty nice. I'll probably just try and do some little touch-ups on that area, but it may just look a little bit ropey, to be honest. I don't think there's much I can do now beyond sanding it all right back down to the wood, which I'm not particularly interested in. And you will notice that there is now a big bleak looking MDF box at the back there. So this is essentially the shell for the tap tower to go around. I've just built a really crude wooden frame, and then yeah, basically cased it with MDF, and that is the result. So that is then going to be clad with more of the spruce and stained the same colour as this. So I'm going to cut a few more bits of that out and then sort of dry fit it around the outside to show you what that will look like. So there we have it with the spruce cladding around the outside. So it's just going to, that's not glued on yet, it's just dry fitted to check that it all lines up okay. Seems alright. So there's going to be another panel recessed in this gap here, which is what the taps are going to be mounted on, if you remember back to the SketchUp design on this. So there's going to be a little bit of a recess for that, and then more of a recess back to this panel here, and then there's going to be the drip tray in the front here. I need to add that extra layer of plywood to bring this level up a touch, especially now that while I was experimenting with the router over there, I managed to burn a few holes in the middle of the table, so I definitely can't use that now. Definitely needs a layer over the top of it. Yeah, so I was considering trying to make this top bit a little bit more decorative and routing the edges, but I'm not sure if I'm going to bother, to be honest. It might be more hassle than it's worth. So it does look a little bit utilitarian at the moment, but hopefully once it's all stained and varnished and it's got that front panel on, and I've got some decorative ideas for this back panel here, it will look quite nice. So yeah, need to cut a little bit more wood for that panel, and then once that's done, it's well, we're nearly there really, apart from finishing and fitting all the, obviously all the gas and stuff. I need to drill through the top behind this, so in the void behind it, through the lid, to allow all the beer lines and all of that up into the tower. But yeah, that's probably going to be not much fun, but once that's done, it's we're going to start getting into the guts of rigging it all up and running in all the lines and stuff. So yeah, good progress. So I've got the side panels glued on there, and as you can see, I've now fitted this front panel, which is where the taps are going to mount. So I need to put another little strip down the bottom here to sort of seal that gap up, and I now need to glue the top on. Now, I did change my mind when it came to the routing, because I thought it would just make it look a lot nicer if I did it. So there it is. Yeah, I used the edging router on there, and I'm pretty chuffed with that, to be honest. It needed a little bit of tidying up afterwards, but yeah, that makes a big difference. So I'm just about to glue this on the top, but you can see with that nice edging there, it just smartens the whole thing up a bit, makes it look a little bit less rough and ready. So again, glue that down. I'm going to put another strip down here so that it brings it level with the drip tray when that is fitted at the front. And I've got to measure these gaps here and fit a thin strip of wood at the back there on either side. Once I know how long those need to be, then that all needs to be finished. Drill the holes through for the taps, drill through the lid. I've got more plywood there for the top to raise this centre area up a little bit more, and that's it. So tower's pretty much done. Bit of stain on it, needs a couple more coats to get it to the same colour as this. As you can see, I've fitted the bit of wood there to the bottom to level it off with the drip tray, and you can see I've routed out the plywood there a little bit to basically make the drip tray sit flush. So I'll show you that on there. So that now sits flush up to the, well, sort of flush to the edge of the tower there. Next thing I'm going to do is drill some holes through the front for the taps. More coats of stain on there. Then I'm going to cut the extra sheet of plywood that goes on top of here to just bring this level up. So I've got the 12mm plywood to do that. Stick that down, then I can fix the tower properly and drill the holes through the bottom of the lid for that. Then we're nearly there. So the first hole's in. I thought I would do a quick test fitting of the tap. As you can see, I've gone for the slightly cheaper tap options off of eBay. These ones come out about 20 quid. I was advised by a few people to look at much more expensive options, but to be honest, I couldn't afford to shell out nearly £200 just on the taps alone, so I went with these. And obviously I haven't used them in anger yet, but as far as build quality and appearances go, they look pretty good to me so far. They've got a little flow control thing on there. Don't know how good that is, but they're also spring loaded, so closes automatically. And yeah, I think I quite like the look of them too. So it looks like it's all lining up nicely with the drip tray, and most importantly, that's kind of the tallest pint glass that I own, and that fits neatly underneath. So that's all good so far, so I'll take that back off, drill the rest of the holes, and then get on with finishing that tower. So I've cut and fitted this interior plywood here, and just put the tower and the drip tray back on top so I can mark those out, and then I'm going to cut through that outline with the jigsaw, and then the drip tray and tower will sit through that layer of ply, and I can glue it down and start sealing up the edges. So last update for this video or episode, and we've got the final coat of stain on the top here, which is looking quite nice. Again, few little patches where there's been wood glue on there and it's kind of left it a little bit streaky, so you can see just right in the corners here where there's been glue down the side. It's a little bit streakiness, but nothing too bad. And I've cut through the plywood, the extra layer of plywood, so that the drip tray is sitting through that and the tower as well, so it's all going to be nice and kind of snug through the top there, and brings it all a little bit more flush with the top of the bar. So as you can see, we've now got about 5mm clearance there, and you'll find out in the next video what I'm going to be doing with that last little bit of the bar top. But at the moment it's looking good.
I'm the dude, so that's what you call me, you know? That or his dudeness, or duder, or you know, El Duderino.